guys, welcome back. So we're on to chapter 5, Brotherly Love. The car ride back was quiet. Gala awkwardly trying to make conversation, but it only made Dylan roll his eyes, keeping his odd glance on the road. We really appreciate you letting us stay at yours, Dylan. You're a lifesaver, spoke Gala, running her hands through her knotty blonde hair. I nodded, agreeing, looking over at Dylan, who only nodded in response, his eyes seeming to wander off somewhere else. Oh shit, I left my dress at yours, I mumbled, chewing on my plumped bottom lip. I'll have it dry cleaned and sent back to your house, replied Dylan. Oh, thank you, I replied, causing Gala to raise her eyebrows at me, nodding, encouraging me. I was unsure of what to say to Dylan with Gala in the car. So, what made you want to go out clubbing last night? Asked Gala. Ethan dragged me out, said Dylan, pushing his foot down on the accelerator, sending the car shooting down the road towards Long Lime Lake. You're not much of a party animal, I asked, already knowing the answer, but just wanting to make conversation. Only irresponsible alphas are, said Dylan, smirking slightly at me. I have to object, exclaimed Gala, laughing. There's always time for a party. Excuse her, I laughed. She's the bad influence in this friendship. Dylan raised his eyebrows at me, causing me to shift in my seat. And what about you? Me? I stuttered, swallowing. What would you say you are? Wondered Dylan, using his indicator to signal. I cleared my throat awkwardly, dropping my glance, thinking, I don't know. What was your childhood like? My mate asked, taking me off guard. I have to grow up quickly, but overall it was okay, I replied, the words slipping out my mouth before I had properly thought about them. I panicked, not wanting to come off across as too heavy, but Dylan studied me as he pulled over to the side of the road next to the lake, his ocean blue eyes trying to read my emerald green ones. Thank you for the ride, Dylan, said Gala, pushing the car door open and chambering out, giving me one lasting look, seeming to want to give me some alone time with Dylan. Thank you for driving us. You really didn't have to, I spoke, grabbing the handle of the door, but Dylan cleared his throat, stopping me. What did you mean by that? He asked, flickering his brows. By what? I questioned. When you said you had to grow up quickly. I swagged. Everyone has a little bit of family drama, don't they? Dylan shuffled, not liking the way I was trying to swag it off. He dragged his bottom lip into his mouth, sucking at it softly, observing me. I sighed, knowing that Dylan wasn't going to let it go. My mom left when I was young. My parents aren't mates, and after having kids, she found him. So she left us. My little brother was involved in a really bad accident after she disappeared, so I had to help my father look after him from a young age. Dylan flickered his brows. Averting his glance, I noticed his throat move as he swallowed, rubbing at his stubbles. When did you last see your mother? I shook my head. Not since I was 13. Dylan ran his hands through his dark hair noggin, trying to understand me, his ocean blue eyes piercing mine, causing me to smile sadly at him, not wanting to come across as too emotional. You said your brother had an accident? I nodded. He and my uncle got into a bad car crash, and Jord became paralyzed from the waist down, but my uncle didn't make it. Jord's 17 now and wants to be independent, but it was a lot harder when he was younger, especially as my father had to work. Dylan's eyed widened slightly as he nodded. His hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. I should go, but thank you for the ride, I said as I opened the car door, climbing out. I stood at the side of the road, admiring Dylan as he showed me a small smile, the corner of his lips turning upward slightly. Am I gonna see you again? You'll see me soon again, Clara, replied Dylan, causing me to flicker my eyebrows confused, but I decided not to argue overwhelmed. I shut the door behind me, walking onto the pavement, watching Dylan's car speed down the road, rolling in the corner. Kayla stood on the grass, smiling sadly at me. Are you okay? She asked, pulling me in for a hug. Yeah, I hope. I didn't ruin your birthday, I said sadly, causing Gayla to wave her hands at me, laughing. Don't be stupid. I had a great time. I'm just happy you found your mate. I just want you to be happy, Clara. I smiled, shaking my head. I love you. I love you too. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? I have to go home and face my parents. I'm not sure what kind of story I'm gonna have to come up with. I laughed, rolling my eyes. You'll be fine. I'll call you if they end up killing me. I chuckled, waving at her as I head down the path towards my house, taking a deep breath as Dylan took over my thoughts, its face and body invading my mind. Mates weren't something I really thought about often, because sometimes you ended up never even meeting them or finding them later on in life like my mom did. Images of her filled my mind, playing back as if on a tape, causing me to sigh. I never understood why she left and why she didn't want us in her life. I had always thought that a woman would love their children unconditionally, no matter what. Every so often, I could see the pain in my father's face as he thought about her, and how much of a struggle it was for him to do it all alone. He pretended to be okay in front of us, but I could tell from his lack of sleep and appetite that sometimes it became too much for him. He was heartbroken. I sniffled, pushing the tears back as I refused to cry over my mother, not wanting her to have such an effect on me. She didn't deserve it. As I reached my house, I pushed the small red door open, peeking inside, hoping no one was around. Deciding it was clear, I made my way through the living room and into the hallway, aiming for the stairs. Someone looks guilty! I jumped, a small scream echoing through the house as I spin around. Seeing my brother wheeling towards me, a smirk playing on his lips. Jard, you scared me to death! Jard laughed, sitting back in his wheelchair, his arms crossed, eyebrow raised. Well, whose clothes are those? They look awfully big for you. I looked down at Dylan's large t-shirt and tracksuit bottoms, my eyes widened as I stood there with my mouth open. Jard raised his brows, shaking his head. Better run upstairs and change before Dad finds out. Don't tell him, I begged, smiling at my brother who raises his hands up defensively. I didn't see a thing, he chuckled, turning his wheelchair around, making his way into the living room. I sighed with relief, smiling to myself as I took the stairs two steps at a time, barging into my room and shutting the door behind me as quickly as I could. I leaned my head against the door, breathing heavily as I allowed Dylan's scent to overwhelm me, the smell of his clothes sending sparks along my bare skin. I never wanted to change out of them. Alright guys, we've reached the end of chapter 5. Next on, we're going to chapter 6. And the title is The News. Alright, so it's getting a lot more interesting. As you already see in the book, Clara lost her mom. Not dead, she's not dead or no, she just disappeared out of their life. So it's kind of sad. And I'm happy for her that she and her mate is getting along, because in some of these werewolf books, when they just meet a mate, it's like all hell broke loose, I don't want you, rejection, all of them stuff there. Or the man did already have a woman, or the woman just named one man. Simple. But yes, Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click that post notification bell and all to get notified each time that I post a video. Peace out.